Everybody, is the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it. But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big meetings.
Let's discuss one of the most bizarre political tragedies that the village of Dalton is currently experiencing. Imagine a little community in Illinois, engulfed in anarchy, with the mayor at its core, numerous legal disputes, controversies, and ongoing public cry while attempting to hold on to power. And no, it's not some made-up TV show on Mayor Tiffany's real life. The focal point of this chaotic scene is Henyard. Sedek is constantly igniting controversy. If political drama is your thing, that rivals reality TV's drama, this is what is happening in Dalton and why. Is it causing a stir among people?
Administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Henyard chose to sue following what can only be characterized as a sequence of strange dueling towns. This is where things happen in board meetings. Obtain a juicy image from two different boards. Meetings taking place at the same time. One, Henyard and her allies led the way at Village Hall, and another one that she opponents in the Park District building, completely perplexing. But that's only just the beginning in this tiny town, a political soap opera. Thus, how did we even come on? Let's go back a little to Henyard's. The mayor's tenure has been absolutely since the beginning. She has been contentious, alleged to have made dubious appointments without the required authorization from the village board, resulting in several court cases in the most recent chapter in when Henyard attempted to unfold the saga, pushed through the names of a few important appointments such as Ronnie Bora for chief of police and for village attorney, Angela Wett for attempting to obtain the trustees' consent naturally. This was not well received by the trustees who contested her right away. Guess what? The judge agreed in court. Henyard was slapped by them with the order of restraining. So the message was evident that you can't simply make these decisions made without the board's approval of.
Court. The judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
But does that give Henyard the opportunity to back down? No, she chose to take things to a new level as soon as possible. Board meeting Henyard proceeded to attempt to have a separate meeting of her own at Village Hall, fully aware of F-space were congregating in the park somewhere else. District, why it appears that Henyard is all about dominance, and this was her method of swiftly establishing dominance. Chuav failed with just two of her devoted in the presence of trustees. She lacked sufficient support for continuing the meeting, forcing her to go over and cancel toward the park area, where the primary there was a meeting.
I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all.
Imagine now that Henyard arrives late to the Park District in an attempt to contact the authorities, only to be met by jeers in a room full of regarding individuals who didn't want it. She seized the microphone and announced herself the legitimate mayor of Dalton and the defendant, the trustees of a previously unlawful meeting, but the audience didn't buy it. Essentially, the Henyard was jeered out of the space where residents are even turning how tense it is when they turn their backs on her. Stuff that humans are fed to indulge in up, and they don't hesitate to display it.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around.
Perhaps you're asking yourself, is this really that bad? Well, the entire scenario has been fermenting for several months, with Henyard confronting a torrent of charges that range from power grabs and financial mismanagement. Locals are furious, and for good reason. Why she is being accused of running the village, such as her own Tom deciding what's best for her inner circle, disregarding the regulations that are meant to hold her accountable. The trustees are not the only ones who are upset. Many Dalton residents have had enough, and the outrage from the public is just growing louder. Let's discuss those. For a moment, appointments the cause. The reason Yard's actions are so contentious is that these positions aren't simply any. She's attempting to fill in the gaps regarding some of the key positions enrolled in the village government, such as the local lawyer, the head of police, and the village manager to designate these people without the appropriate acceptance is important since the checks are fundamentally undermines and balances that should be present trustees in local government. Hence, they are to be able to influence these meetings to guarantee that choices are made in the best interests of not simply for the mayor's benefit, box up the village personal gain. But she's not in Henyard following those guidelines.
Las Vegas?
The legal problems aren't going to go away anytime soon. Just like the dust was agreeing to a single court case in Henyard, made the decision to file her own lawsuit. Yes, that's correct. She is now suing the Park District trustees, asserting because it's against the law for them to meet and ought to be dismissed in her case, she's advocating for the declaration of Village Hall, the designated meeting location, and requests any choices taken in the Park District meeting to be dismissed. This isn't merely regarding the location of the meetings, it's regarding Henyard's attempt to take back authority of the story by bringing this legal action. Her refusal is practically doubling down to distance herself from her contentious activities.
Absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt.
Her public remarks have just fueled the social media fire. The Henyard has established herself as a head of attack, urging her followers to join her as she paints a picture of a dishonest local council that's trying to have her assert that this is all a part of a smear campaign that she planned adversaries in politics. In a recent piece, she even called herself a black person. Sheik mobilizing her followers by implying that she is acting unjustly targeted. But does anyone find it credible? Based on the response she's receiving to these meetings, it doesn't appear to be there, of course, are Henyard's defenders, are those who still think she's being unjustly singled out, and the trustees are attempting to discredit her. According to authority, this is all Henyard's political theater is only carrying out her elected duties control the fate. But even her followers cannot dispute the poor quality of the optics. Having your own board boo you, it's not exactly a good time to meet a politician.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
Additionally, let's not overlook the federal investigation. Yes, there is a government investigation investigating Dalton's wealth, and the name Henyard has appeared more than once. Claims of embezzlement of public monies and mismanagement of finances has been circling her for several months, and this research may be the thing that ultimately causes everything to collapse. Naturally, Henyard denies any misconduct. However, with rivals flying and rumors whirling, it's difficult to deny the reality that there's something off in Dalton.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
Henyard and the trustees' conflict has obviously reached a breaking point. Thus, at this point, there's more to it than who gets to hold the gatherings or the person making the meetings. It concerns the future of so far. The village itself is at a crossroads, and relying on how everything turns out unfolds, it might have long-term repercussions for its citizens. Henyard's legal disputes and the ongoing power, the public outrage and challenges have produced an atmosphere of ambiguity, and others are beginning to question if it can be fixed in some way. So the anger is evident, particularly among lifelong inhabitants who have witnessed their chaos breaks out in the village. One inhabitant who has spent more than 30 years living in Dalton remarked that she's not just ashamed herself, but she has made the town look foolish. Dalton's imitation of Timmy Turner with extremely godparents being stupid and selfish actions are disgusting. Expression that appears to be shared by many residents of the village believe they have been disappointed with their leadership, and at the heart of it is Henyard. Everybody.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
Some residents are taking a more cynical view of the situation, with one person even commenting, "Hope this keeps dragging out. She's the best clown show ever." It's clear that for some, this drama has crossed into the realm of absurdity, with people tuning in just to see what Henyard will do next. And honestly, can you blame them? It's not every day you see a political leader show up late to a meeting, get booed of the route of the room, and then file a lawsuit to try and undo it all.
And for anyone from a township to go to a mayor's conference. A mayor's conference is a mayor's conference for mayors.
Thus, where does Lee Dalton stand? For starters, the community is mired in a legal and political quagmire with no apparent solution, and the litigation against Site Sard is still underway. Therefore, it's impossible to predict how the courts will make decisions for the trustees in the interim, making every effort to push back against her. But the ongoing internal strife is having an adverse effect on the village's capacity to operate and collaborate with the federal, and investigation lurking in the distance. Things could become even more chaotic. There is no doubt that this is not the final. Listen to what Mayor Tiffany Henyard has to say. Regardless of the outcome of her lawsuit, she loses position, or is she facing more legal issues? Refusing to surrender without a battle, she disobedience when faced with legal obstacles, anger from the public, and even alcohol at her own meeting demonstrates her resolve to continue moving forward despite everything. But will she be able to withstand this political upheaval? Or is this her moment as end of Dalton's mayorship?
There will be no comments, there won't be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Now, everyone is focused on the next township meeting, where additional fireworks are anticipated. Believe that the most recent board meeting was wild. Just wait. According to sources, will only grow more bizarre. And within the history of the yard's spectacular entrances and exits, who can predict what will occur next? This story is not yet finished, and the stakes are quite high. And that's the big question: what will happen to Dalton next? Can the village bounce back from this? Anarchy in politics, or is this simply the start of a more significant decline? So will Henyard succeed in taking back control, or will the courts and trustees ultimately so? These are the questions you ask her. Everyone is inquiring, and it's only a question of time until we receive some responses about. However, the drama in Henyard is still going on. Supporters are still loyal to her, the trustees are putting up a fierce battle to stop her, and Dalton's citizens are left observing, waiting, and anticipating a conclusion. But as long as Tiffany at the helm is the Henyard, it's evident that Dalton is going to have an incredible journey. So what do you believe Mayor Tiffany to be? Henyard is merely attempting to do her duties, or has her use of power has truly gone too far? Plays, and do you think the locals? Dalton will never witness a tranquil settlement, or will this upheaval continue? Tell us what you think in the comments below until you return. Curious? Keep checking back for additional information on this developing drama.